All right, hello everyone. So what I am going to be doing in this video clip is trying to reconnect to the human a little bit. One of the hardest things about an online class is that it's not around people. We are so tired of Zoom. We are so tired of not having online classes that it can be hard to remember that your teacher, your classmates, everybody involved, are human and that we're all in this together. So here is going to be my attempt of letting you know a little bit about myself, as well as kind of humanizing the matter a little bit. I'm also going to go into a little bit of some recommendations that I have for you when it comes to preparing for an online class. And yeah, so let's just jump on right in. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And let's get started. Okay. So you are in the class, lifespan development. I know I've said that a lot. Just really want to make sure you're here. Okay. Here's a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Brianna Messerschmidt. If you would like to get to know me a little bit more than what's on here, I do also have a website that you can visit. It's called BeMessyTherapy.com. I have all my specialties and experience and all that kind of stuff is all on there with some fun pictures and such. So go on there if you feel like. But for you, for now, I do want to mention that when I am talking about psychology, I am coming from a psychology, but also a counseling background. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I do own my own private practice. I have a fairly full caseload right now of clients coming in, and I work with them when I'm not working with you. My specialties include complex trauma, PTSD. I certainly have a I don't know I don't know how to say it, but I like difficult cases. I do volunteer for TRN Trauma Recovery Network, and I do work with very intense cases. I do find a lot of satisfaction in that because I do see a lot of progress when clients are coming in extreme distress and being able to help them kind of out of it. So it is a passion of mine. In that same vein, no pun intended, I also work a lot with addiction, pet bereavement and pet loss, compassion fatigue, animal assisted therapy, and I am trained in the process of getting certified in EMDR. EMDR is an acronym for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It is one of the leading modalities in trauma therapy. So it is something that I use a lot. And you'll notice probably the pet bereavement on there. I do have a secondary passion for working with animals alongside people. And so you'll kind of see that coming up throughout this presentation. Here's a little bit about my education. So I, like you, went to a community college. I went to one called Moorpark Community College. It's up in like Ventura County. My major was animal science. I did not start in psychology. From there, I went to a vocational school that was connected to that community college called the Exotic Animal Training and Management Program. It was a 2-year program and graduated from there. From there, I went to the University of California, San Diego. Loved it down there. This is a picture of UCSD's library. It's supposed to look like a tree, and underneath it, there's also a whole bunch of computer labs and systems that are supposed to look like a rooting system. So I loved it there. It was beautiful. I got my degree in psychology there, my bachelor's. From there, I went to California State University, Fullerton, and earned my master's degree in counseling. Everybody does a traineeship there when you first start working with clients, and I did my traineeship at the Salvation Army. I have some unique experiences when it comes to psychology and the counseling world. So here's some of them. I worked as an intensive outpatient therapist for severe mental health. So that would look like my clients were not often well enough to come into an office. So I would go to see them in their homes. And again, severe mental health struggles were there. I worked in a community agency similar to, but not running a private practice before I got my private practice. I've worked in several different rehab centers. I've worked in a residential facility for children with mood disturbances. Um, Again, I like difficult cases, so you can kind of see that here. I kind of got my start in applied behavior analysis therapy, so ABA. That is I mostly worked with children with autism. I am a therapy event coordinator for EMDR professional training, so I kind of help new professionals get trained in trauma work stuff. I'm part of that network. I worked at an animal emergency clinic, meaning that I was a receptionist at an emergency vet clinic. So I would be the first line of defense when somebody would come in with a potentially dying sick animal of theirs. And I would work with the people, and the vets would work with the animals. And as I mentioned earlier, I now currently have a private practice. I, though, like I'm guessing some of you, did not start off in this field. My first profession was I was a studio animal trainer, meaning that I trained dogs for movies, sometimes other animals, but mostly dogs. I say this in the past tense, but I also am currently in this role as well. It has kind of slowed down with COVID, seeing as production ceased to exist for a good year there. But you can see some of the stuff that I've done. I was on the Katie Couric show, if any of you even remember who that is. I was in the Dogster magazine. I've done a lot. It's been fun times. Here's some unique things about me, and you can kind of keep some of these in mind when you are working on your group discussion for your classmates. But again, just some random stuff about me. I'm a scuba diver. I love scuba. I love water. I love octopus. If you ever are driving and you see a car that's completely decorated with octopus tentacles coming up and looking like it's grabbing it, that'd be me. Actually, I think I've updated this. I own a dog, bird, fish, and now 12 snakes and a cat. Thank you, quarantine. I can solve Rubik's Cube pretty quick, too. I have 2 Guinness World Records named in the book by name. Fun times. I am an avid reader, at least I was before COVID. Now that COVID has hit, I do not read as much. I know that sounds backwards, but I used to do a lot of audiobooks and driving. And whenever I drive, I would read my audiobooks. And now I don't drive. So that is significantly lower. I'm in the media. I mean, if you Google me, I'll come up. So sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Yeah. But I've done a lot. Like I said earlier, I'm in the Dogster magazine. I've done other TV things. Sometimes I've heard stories of like, oh, I was watching this dog show, too cute, and all of a sudden you were there. So, I mean, it happens. Fun times. I did kind of on a, oh wait, I'm skipping. No, I'm not. Personal level, I was the first person in my immediate family to graduate from college at all. And I was definitely the first to get my master's and then my bachelor's before that. On that same kind of note, I did pay for all of my college with financial aid's help. I know what it is to be a struggling student and how difficult financial aid can be sometimes to navigate, but also how helpful it is in the end of the day. I worked full time when I was a student throughout pretty much all of my student career. I get that. Paid for all my housing and all that. Not easy. And then kind of going along with the snakes that we said earlier, I also have another little side business where I breed snakes, Kenyan sand boas specifically. They're fun little snakes. Okay, so now kind of back on you. So some recommendations for time management and skills to help you get through this class and maybe your other classes as well. Number 1, get a planner. Get organized. I cannot stress this enough. Do this now if you haven't already. I mean, you can try to use your phone, but Something tells me it's just not going to be enough. So, for example, I have my own planner here. It is fantastic. I can have number one at a glance, full calendar of the month, but even more specifically, I can add all of my other little things on here. So I can put specifically what assignments are due on what days, as well as over here, I can like actually check mark all of like, let's say self-care or that I'm doing to make sure that I'm okay as well as my schoolwork. So things I have on here is like drinking enough water, going out on walks. Like I said, I have a dog, so trying to walk the dog and remind myself to exercise. Things like stretching, things like trying to go to bed by a certain time so that I don't feel as drained the next day. Literally implementing self-care into your schedule, into your planner, along with your assignments is very, very important. And to do that, you need a planner. So if you can't get a fancy schmancy one like this, I think this one was like $15 from Amazon. You can use a notebook. Just get it now. Start planning ahead. Put in those dates if you need to fill them in. Find your syllabus and put in all the due dates now so nothing sneaks up on you and you know what's to come. Okay, that is your homework for this week. You have chapter 1, sure, but that's only one chapter. The biggest part of this course for this week is just getting prepared. Okay. Number 2, write down your priorities for school semester, for school/semester/year today. So if you were to think about, okay, in 14 weeks from now, what would I like to have done? Well, yeah, school's going to be one of them, but if there's something else in there, put it in there, So if you don't plan for it, it just may get forgotten. So start planning for it now. Number 3, identify, prioritize, and schedule self-care into your planner, physical and mental. Like I said, even I am doing this. I know it sounds stupid and annoying to be quote unquote lectured on all of this stuff, but this is what's going to help you not only get through this class, but get through everything that's going on. Self-care is not a luxury. Self-care is a necessity. You do not survive without self-care. Taking care of yourself physically, like walking, eating, sleeping, right? Trying to do the other things like keeping up on hygiene is just as important as your homework assignments, if not more. Make sure that you do those things. Make sure that you're taking care of your mental self-care. So what are you doing for your brain? What's making life worth living? I don't think it's school, right? What is it then that is making your life worth it? Is it being able to do things like spend time with family or friends, children, animals? Is it being able to enjoy reading things, learning new things, doing things? Don't forget to implement those things into your life, because if you get disconnected from what makes life worth it, it really starts to feel like it's not worth it. So reconnect to those things to feel connected and be okay. Try to start, getting back to class, try to start your class work early. So in the syllabus, you'll see that there's a lot of due dates. That does not mean that that's when you need to start working on the journal per se. It just means that's when it's actually due. So if you can get your work done earlier on in the week, you will have an easier time. I really do think that's true. Try to space it out. Just try to get it all done before the due date so you don't feel like you're stressing out every time it's the end of the week. Other classes that you may have similar due dates. So start kind of pairing them up together to make sure that just out of luck, everything's not going to end up being due on the exact same day for all of your classes. Figure it out now. And here's another little suggestion that I have for you. I really think it's a good idea to spend an extra 5 minutes sitting in front of your computer before and after you try to start doing your schoolwork. Here's why. I know it sounds just like more time screen, but it will automatically remind you to do some self-care. Okay? So sit in front of your computer, maybe time yourself for 5 minutes, and just breathe. You don't have to stare at a screen or anything. Just kind of be here. Focus on your breath. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, It often looks like a little triangle right here, right? So again, breathing in for 4, holding for 4, and out for 4, right? And around you go. Just kind of getting in that state of mind, reconnecting with the present, reconnecting to your body and what you're doing. Um, Taking that time to meditate if you want to, just to kind of, again, implement and schedule that self care. And then when you're done, doing the same thing. I know we like to just race off to dinner or race off to whatever we need to do. We don't all have the luxury of spending extra time, let's say, but it's still very important to kind of go, okay, I'm going to put my schoolwork away now. I'm not going to keep thinking about it. I'm going to go live my life. I'm going to put it away and come back. Just make sure you know when to come back. Um, yeah, we're good there. Some things that I've noticed that students who do well in remote learning, or I should say online learning, is they take notes. As you're reading, take notes. Watching my videos, take notes. Act like it's a class. It is a class, but like remember it's a class. And if that's the easiest way to do it, do it. Some people really have an easier time actually writing it and then remembering it than just reading it in the first place or watching it in the first place. Participate and ask questions. We have group discussions. I have office hours, right? So come talk to me, come talk to other students. Start to make a personal connection with the material, because if you're able to make that personal connection with it, you're going to be able to remember it easier, right? So some of that can be done through participation. Remember to get your work on time. Remember. That's the hardest part, I think, with like MCEs. They're not designed to be particularly difficult, but a lot of times people just forget to do them. So don't forget to do them, because if you do that too many times, it's really going to take a chunk out of your grade. And if you're able to use that time management, you can get so many points. And then it won't be as necessary for you to do perfectly on the exam to get a great grade. So I try to design it with your self care and your um, brain power in mind, right? I design it in the way I would want a class. Lots of little pieces of assignments that I can get points for, as well as the exam, so that everything can kind of be a little bit averaged, and then I can still do well in the class, as opposed to everything being just the exam. But if you go into the class thinking everything's all your grade is all going to be based off of your exam, you're going to be sadly mistaken if you don't do your quizzes and your journals and your discussions. All of that's going to add up to a big chunk of points. So make sure you get them done and get them done on time to not lose those points of yours. You want to make sure that you schedule time to study for your exams. Don't just wait for them to all of a sudden pop up and they're due. And oh my God, right? Try to actually schedule that time. I have purposefully made those weeks a little bit lighter for you, as well as made the group discussions geared towards reviewing the information with your fellow classmates and such. But you want to make sure to do that. And if you can, if you are able to make a connection with the students, sometimes it's awesome to have a little group study guide session, with other people who are going through it, so you don't have to do it all on your own. And of course, I'm really saying it a lot, I know. Resist the urge to copy other students' answers, your textbook, or the internet. Even if you get away with it, you're just cheating yourself. And most of the time, people don't get away with it. Just don't do it, please. Please. Okay. So that's what I would like to share with you for now, and I hope this was helpful. If you would like to share anything with me, feel free to drop it in the group discussion that we have on the homepage, and I'm having some fun. All right.